The Mojave Desert was a vast, unforgiving expanse, where the sun beat down like an angry god, turning the air into a shimmering haze and the ground into cracked earth that seemed to stretch forever. It was the spring break of 2018, and the open road called to 4 young women from UCLA. Their beat-up Honda Odyssey van humming along Interstate 15 like a faithful steed, carrying them toward the glittering promise of Las Vegas. The van was a relic from Megan's parents, its once white paint now faded to a dull gray, with stickers from past adventures peeling at the edges. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of vanilla air freshener, mixed with the faint tang of energy drinks and excitement. For Jenna Martinez, a quiet sophomore majoring in computer science, this trip was more than just a getaway. It was a chance to finally belong, to shed her image as the nerdy one in her sorority, Delta Gamma Theta. She sat in the back seat, her phone in hand, the GPS app glowing brightly as she navigated the 270-mile journey from Los Angeles to Sin City. The route was straightforward, a 4-hour drive down I-15, with stops for gas and snacks. Jenna had planned it meticulously, as she did everything, her mind already envisioning the neon lights, the laughter, and the bonds she'd strengthen with her sorority sisters. Megan Thompson was at the wheel, her long blonde hair tied back in a ponytail that swung with every turn. She was the undisputed leader of their little pack, the kind of woman who turned heads with her confident stride and sharp wit. As president of the sorority, Megan had a way of making decisions that felt final, her voice carrying the weight of authority earned through charisma and a touch of intimidation. Beside her in the passenger seat was Chloe Ramirez, the life of every party, with her infectious laugh and endless supply of stories that always seemed to end with, "And then we danced all night." Chloe's dark curls bounced as she fiddled with the radio, switching between pop anthems and hip-hop beats, her energy keeping the van's vibe alive. In the back with Jenna was Emma Lee, the wild card of the group, with her freckled face and a smile that could light up a room. Emma was the one who suggested spontaneous detours, or dared the group to try something new, her adventurous spirit often pulling them into fun, or trouble. The first hour flew by in a blur of chatter and music. Megan cranked up a playlist of Beyoncé and Taylor Swift, the lyrics blasting through the speakers as the city sprawl of LA gave way to the barren beauty of the desert. Joshua trees dotted the landscape like ancient sentinels, their twisted branches reaching toward a cloudless sky. Jenna called out directions with quiet precision. "Stay on I-15 for the next 50 miles. Megan nodded, tossing a grin over her shoulder. "You're killing it with the map, Jen. We might actually get there without getting lost this time." Chloe laughed, passing back a bag of Twizzlers. "Remember that time we ended up in that sketchy diner, because Emma thought she knew a shortcut?" Emma feigned offense, swatting Chloe's arm. "Hey, that diner had the best pie!" "Adventure is what life's about, right?" Jenna smiled, munching on a licorice rope, feeling a warm glow in her chest. This was it, the camaraderie she'd craved since pledging the sorority. She wasn't just the girl who organized study groups or fixed everyone's tech issues. She was part of the crew, sharing in the jokes and the road trip magic. But magic has a way of turning sour in the desert heat. They pulled into Barstow around noon, a sleepy town that felt like a time warp, with its cluster of gas stations and fast food chains huddled against the highway. The van eased into a Shell station, the tires crunching on gravel as Megan parked by the pumps. "Snack run. Ladies," she announced, killing the engine. The group spilled out, stretching their legs under the relentless sun. Chloe headed for the bathroom, Emma wandered toward a vending machine, and Jenna, ever the helpful one, offered to grab drinks from the mini-mart. "I'll get Slurpees for everyone," she said, pulling out her wallet with the 40 she'd saved for Vegas fun. Megan nodded absently, scrolling through her phone. "Cool, thanks. Make mine cherry." Jenna nodded, her heart light as she pushed open the mini-mart door, the bell tinkling above her. The store was a snapshot of Americana, fluorescent lights buzzing over aisles of chips, sodas, and lottery tickets. The clerk, an older man with a weathered face, nodded hello as Jenna loaded up on frozen drinks, a bag of Doritos, and some gum for the road. She paid with a smile, imagining the group's gratitude when she returned with their treats. Stepping back into the blinding sunlight, Jenna's arms were full, the Slurpees already sweating in the heat. She scanned the lot for the van's familiar shape, but the spot by the pumps was empty. Her stomach dropped, a cold knot forming as she turned in circles, thinking maybe they'd moved to the shade. But no, the van was gone, a faint trail of dust marking its departure toward the highway. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, and with shaking hands, she pulled it out. A text from Megan. "Sorry, girl, van's packed. Catch you later." The words blurred through a haze of shock and hurt. Jenna stood there, the Slurpees dripping onto her shoes, the desert wind whipping her hair. They had ditched her. Left her stranded in Barstow, 100 miles from home, 100 miles from Vegas, with no explanation beyond a casual text. The betrayal hit like a wave, crashing over her. Why, was it because she wasn't fun enough? Because her stories weren't as wild, her laughs not as loud? She'd always felt on the edge of the group, the one they tolerated rather than celebrated. Now, it was clear, they didn't want her there at all. Tears pricked her eyes, but Jenna blinked them back. She wasn't going to break down in a gas station parking lot. Instead, she marched back into the Mini Mart, explained her situation to the clerk, who shook his head sympathetically and pointed her toward a truck stop across the street. There, she found Linda, a tough-looking trucker with tattoos and a kind smile, hauling freight back to LA. "Hop in, kid," Linda said, after Jenna offered her the melting Slurpees as a token of thanks. The big rig's cab was a world away from the van, high off the ground, with a rumbling engine that drowned out Jenna's thoughts. Linda turned on the radio, country tunes filling the air as the desert scrolled by. Jenna stared out the window, replaying every moment of the morning. Megan's smile when she'd assigned Jenna navigation duty. Chloe's eye roll when Jenna suggested a playlist. Emma's giggle when she'd accidentally bumped Jenna's backpack into a puddle last week at a sorority event. It wasn't an accident, it was a pattern, a way to push her out. By the time they reached LA, Jenna's hurt had crystallized into anger, a cold resolve settling in her chest. She thanked Linda, shouldered her bag, and headed back to her dorm, her mind already turning to revenge. The dorm room was quiet, the hum of her laptop the only sound as Jenna booted it up. She opened Reddit, diving into r pro-revenge and r petty revenge, scrolling through stories of sweet justice. One post about a guy who sabotaged his roommate's laundry with itch powder. Another about a woman who signed her ex up for every spam list imaginable. Jenna's eyes lit up as she read about navigation pranks, detours, speed traps, the works. A plan formed, sharp and satisfying. Megan, Chloe, and Emma still needed her. Megan's phone was a cracked mess. Chloe hated maps, and Emma was too scatterbrained to navigate. They'd text for help on the return trip, and when they did, Jenna would be ready. She spent hours researching, cross-referencing trucker forums, Caltrans sites, and Reddit threads. She pinned speed traps, Prim's notorious deputy, Victorville's quota, hungry cops, construction zones in Baker, gravel roads near Nipton that led through ghost towns with no signal. She mapped a route that added 200 miles, turning 4 hours into 12, a labyrinth of misery designed to drain their wallets and spirits. By dawn, her eyes were red, but her smile was genuine. The Queen of Detours was born. Sunday morning came with a ping. Megan's texts were heading back, you navigating. No sorry, no explanation, just assumption. Jenna's fingers flew sure, call me when you're ready. The van left Vegas at 10 a.m., Megan driving, Chloe shotgun, Emma in the back. They called Jenna on speaker, laughing about their weekend conquests. Take I-15 south, Jenna said, her voice steady. Prim was first, a speed trap behind a billboard. Megan, distracted by Chloe's story, hit 45 and a 35. Lights flashed. A 200 ticket? Jenna, what the hell? Megan snapped. App glitch. Jenna lied, biting back a laugh. Baker's construction followed. Potholes shaking the van, traffic stalling for an hour. The AC failed, swept drip, tempers flared. This is brutal, Emma whined. Jenna, it'll pass. The ghost town detour near Nipton was the crown jewel. Gravel roads, dust clouds, a goat blocking the path for 20 minutes. No cell service, just screams and curses echoing through the phone. Victorville's trap nailed another 2 to 50. The sun set, the van crawled into LA at 2 a.m. The women exhausted, wallets lighter, friendships strained. Jenna met them, innocent as ever. Rough ride. Her Reddit post exploded, and 10k upvotes, comments hailing her genius. Megan texted again later for help. Jenna ghosted. Revenge, cold and perfect.